never asked for no help, I just did it by myself. Can't nobody tell me no, no, no. And they ain't gotta love you, long as you just love you, you gon' be alright on your own. Straight off the dome.
Off the Dome, ladies and gentlemen. That's who we are. That's where we be. And I know my buddy Rebo loves that intro song. Ladies and gents, we are the Off the Dome Sports Podcast, your favorite sports podcast where two sports lovers and sometimes three give their hot takes. Off the Dome. Oh, he almost forgot.
Almost called me off guard there.
Jeez, man. Come on. How many times we got to do this?
One more.
Okay, cool. Shout out to Ezzy for that intro song, EZZI on Spotify. It is called Off the Dome. Go ahead and give him a listen. Give the song a listen. Spotify, EZZI. If you're listening in right now, that means you're probably on newrockradio.us. Thank you for listening to newrockradio.us, not only right now, but at all times, 24/7. You'll hear your favorite rock music, whether it be local, national, classic rock, new rock, whatever the case may be, you're going to find it on newrockradio.us. Also listen to newcountryradio.us. I'm a big country music fan myself. Go ahead and give it a listen. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, Radio House Studios, to watch us live. If you're just listening in, go ahead and check out the Radio House Studios accounts so you can see us live right now. And you'll notice that it's not just two of us. No. We've got a middleman right here
Once again.
by the name of Gage the Gremlin Gill. How you doing, Gage?
I'm doing pretty good. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Glad to see you in here again.
Glad to be back.
Before we get into the segment with Gage, we want to tell you a couple more things. We want to tell you to tune in next Wednesday, January the 18th, 7 p.m. on newrockradio.us, as well as the Radio House Studios accounts for the band practice segment featuring Constricted. You're not going to want to miss the energy that Constricted is going to bring right here in Studio A. So make sure to check out newrockradio.us and the Radio House Studios accounts next Wednesday, January the 18th, for a live segment. Words are hard.
There you go.
Of band practice. And finally, we want to thank our sponsor, Petra Restaurant and Lounge. You can see their sign right behind Gage right there. Petra is the best dining experience in the area. Not only a great restaurant, but a great lounge experience, best wine selection, best menu, and the best catering in the area. Go ahead and give them a call, 985-359-8888, or check them out, 1036 West Airline Highway. So if you haven't checked us out before, means you probably haven't seen Gage on here, but he's been on a couple times, and every time he comes on, he lets us in on what his career's like. If you don't know Gage, he's a local guy, MMA fighter, and he whips butt. Undefeated on the professional level. He every time he talks to us, we get a little bit more insight as to what's going on in the life of Gage Gill. So just tell us what's life been like the past couple months.
Pretty much the same. Training all the time. And, training and work, that's really all I'll do right now.
Next up, January 21st, that's next weekend. You've got a fight for Cage Warrior Championship at the Thibodaux Municipal Auditorium, taking on Carlton Lofton. It's going to be your first fight of 2023. New year. Is it a new Gage, or are we looking for the same fighting?
Looking for same fighting, Always wanting to finish these guys, get them out as quick as we can, and then pause. Yeah, get them out as quick as you can, and get back to the partying right after.
Absolutely. I don't know why, but it feels like a quick turnaround since the last fight. That may or may not be the case, but how's the body feeling?
Body, we always got a little small nicks here and there, but it's healthy, ready to go. Took a little break from sparring since I've been fighting so often, and let a few, like I said, small injuries heal, and I'm good to go.
So, last fight you had was another quick one. This one, we were talking about it a little bit before we started, but what are you looking for leading up to this fight? Kind of like his fighting style, and the height advantage, the weight advantage. What is that looking like so far?
I don't think there will be a weight advantage, but height advantage, I'll have a few inches on him. I don't usually have a height advantage on anyone I fight. I've only had one fight I had height advantage. And I knocked him out. So looking to do that
looking
again.
To do the same, a little bit of the same. So I know y'all like watch film, study your opponents. What have you seen in this guy that maybe you've altered your training style or altered your training a little bit to kind of look forward more to this match?
He's not really like super strong in a specific area, so the training's been kind of the same. Just, I mean, the people I train with are tougher to go against than what I'm expecting him, which, I mean, don't want to be too confident going in, but yeah, I don't think I have to worry too much any area. If I want to take him to the ground, I definitely finish him there. But I think I might get a knockout on this one.
Excellent. I mean, being a fighter, you kind of have to have that cocky, confident mentality going into these fights. You gotta kind of psych yourself out and being like, yeah, I know I can beat this guy, this and that.
Yeah, you gotta kind of, convince yourself at times, even if you might be thinking different in the back of your head.
Yeah.
You gotta say it out loud and speak it into existence.
We got a few comments already, but one I'm looking at in particular, Grady, directed at you.
Grady, I don't even want to know what his comment says.
He said, "Dude roasted himself."
How did I do that?
Probably referring to the pause moment.
Pause.
Either that or the height advantage thing.
Yeah,
saying you don't have a height. Well, it happens. Hey, short kings matter too.
Yep.
But I know you were saying you don't really want to have like this overwhelming sense of confidence. But like Byron said, you have to have a little bit of that just to do what you do. You have a history of ending fights in the first round. That's kind of what you've been doing a lot recently. Are you looking for the same thing here?
I mean, I'm not really looking for a first round finish every time. I mean, I usually, my style, I would say I fight for a finish. So if it comes in the first or second, whenever it comes, it comes. I'm not specifically looking for it in the first round. I mean, that's when you can possibly, gas yourself out. Just let it come. It comes on its own.
Yeah, I hear you. So like I was saying, like this one feels like it came up kind of quick. What was like, how did this fight come together? I feel like it came together like so like almost randomly out of the blue really quick. How did this one get put together as opposed to your other ones? Like you're usually fighting for like Empire. This
Right.
one's for a different company. How does that actually work fighting for two different companies like that?
Well, I'm not under a contract with anyone. Like I haven't signed a certain number fight contract where I have to fight 3 times for them and then maybe do another contract or decide to go somewhere else. I can go wherever I want right now. And I've been knowing about this fight for a little longer than what I announced. I had just been waiting for the fight poster for a while to, announce it and, get it out there. But my opponent wouldn't send his picture in to so he could
Interesting.
make the poster happen.
Yeah. If y'all haven't seen that fight poster or the picture that he's talking about, I enjoy looking at that fight poster. Just from a marketing standpoint, I guess you could say.
You can call it marketing.
Well, I'm a sports business kind of guy, so seeing how they portray one fighter versus the other was interesting, to say the least. I can tell why he didn't send his picture in immediately. But tell them how they can view your fight. Tell them how they can come see you. Where's it at? All that good stuff.
So you can DM me and I can send you the link for the Ticketmaster to buy the tickets. You can Justin Verlin, I think is his name. He's the promoter. You can DM him on Facebook. Find that. I haven't found out how they're streaming this one, but I mean, I would have to imagine they're going to. But as of right now, I don't know how this promotion streams their fights.
If we find that out, we'll let the people know. But if you don't know, find him on Facebook, Gage Gill. It's a picture of him as his profile picture, pretty easy to find. Go ahead and give him a follow. Just keep up with all of his fights, not just this one, and then you go ahead, DM him, get those tickets. Should be an exciting fight for sure. Any last little tidbits you want to throw out there, or anything you want to address about this upcoming fight?
No, I mean I got several teammates fighting. That'd be fun. Last time we had last card I had 6 of us fight. All 6 of us got a finish, so that was a pretty good night for us. Hopefully we can, make that happen again.
Nice. And we did get some clarification on the comment section. Grady said no, the height advantage thing. And Reese said Gage goes into every fight looking for a knockout, and with 30 seconds, he's got top control.
Dude, I've been saying that since I turned pro. Since I turned pro, I've been saying the same thing, and I go in there and end up on the ground. I mean, I'm winning without taking damage, but I'm not doing what I really want to do.
Hey, a win is a win, though, right?
Yeah.
And
I mean, all my every one of my amateur fights were stand up, and then all of a sudden I turned pro, and now I'm a jiu-jitsu guy.
hey, it shows versatility, though.
Yeah.
So no matter who you're facing, no matter what you got to do, you should be able to handle it. Speaking about handling business, we've been talking about your next fight, but let's talk about your past. You just won 2022 Fighter of the Year. Well, that's a great accomplishment and local people I'm sure love to see it. Your name getting out there, you're getting recognized for what you've been doing. What was that experience like, being named Fighter of the Year for a professional fighting company?
I mean, it feels great. It was up to the people to vote, so obviously I won it from other eyes, not just, my friends and family. I had random people vote too, so I guess I earned it. I mean, I had other people that could easily have won it, but I came out on top.
Excellent. And then Soundman's got some questions. Is it a 3-round fight, this upcoming fight?
It is scheduled for 3 rounds.
That's what we like to hear.
I like the way you put that one.
He also said he put the fight poster up on the stream.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Hope
Everybody can see.
I hope everyone understands what I was hinting at. I don't want to come out and say anything because, I'm not a fighting man myself, but if I was.
Should have a little information on the fight poster too if anybody decides they want to go. It's in Thibodaux.
Yeah, not too far from here. You can drive there and drive back, but you probably won't want to drive back if you're partying with Gage. That's for sure.
Definitely not if you're partying with me.
There's plenty to do in Thibodaux.
Yeah, once again, that's January 21st. Gage Gill's next fight, Cage Warrior Championship in Thibodaux, taking on Carlton Lofton. Hoping for another first-round ender. Just from a fan standpoint, I mean, you can't ask for much more than ending a fight in the first round and getting a W.
It's funny. I've had people tell me something about that because I'm finishing them so fast. They want to see me fight a little longer. Can't please nobody.
Can't please everyone.
Yeah. Gage, have you been keeping up with the NFL at all?
NFL? No, I mean, the only way I really keep up with it is, whatever ESPN updates I get on my phone or, Facebook or Instagram. But other than that, I don't, follow it real heavy.
I got you. I was just asking because we've had 2 guests on the past 2 episodes, and they have both given their Super Bowl predictions. So I didn't know if you wanted to do the same thing. If you don't feel confident in giving it, you don't have to. But we just wanted to see, do you feel confident in giving a Super Bowl prediction? I can give you the playoffs, tell you who's in it, and then you can pick from there.
Yeah, do that. I got you.
Yeah, run them through the little bracket.
All right, so here's what we got going on this weekend. NFL playoffs starting tomorrow. First game
Dallas loses out instantly.
He didn't even wait for me to say the teams. He was like, "Nah, Dallas is gone." First game tomorrow: Seattle versus San Francisco. Then you've got New York versus Minnesota on Sunday, and then Dallas versus Tampa Bay on Monday. So I know you have Dallas losing. So it sounds like you've got Tampa Bay moving on to the next round. Out of those other 2 games, do you have any insight as to who may be winning those?
Probably San Francisco versus the Vikings. or however the bracket plays out after that. But San Francisco and the Vikings would probably win it.
Fair.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I think most people are riding with. They're the higher seeds for a reason. Except for me, I'm going with the Giants over the Vikings. Sorry, Reese. On the other side of the bracket, you've got Miami taking on Buffalo on Sunday, the Ravens taking on the Bengals, and then the Chargers taking on the Jags tomorrow. What are you thinking on those three?
Gotta go with the Bills. I want to see them in the Super Bowl. Honestly, I don't. Bengals are gonna win, I think, but I don't know if they can repeat on making it to the Super Bowl.
It'll be tough.
Yeah,
Tough road ahead for sure.
but I really want to see Josh Allen get there and win it. And then honestly, I don't even know who to pick for Jaguars or Chargers. So
I don't think most people, even professionals, don't know how to pick at this
It's
point.
close.
It's like a 2.5
2.5
spread.
spread,
So, that should be a really good game. We were split on it.
Yeah.
I picked Chargers. He picks Jags. So it's kind of just like a toss.
I mean, if you're
Los Angeles Jaguars.
oh yeah, that's the way to go. Just pick them both.
and if you're a lot, you could just take the Jags to
Jags.
go all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, pick a 4 seed who barely got in to go all the way.
No way.
Yeah, we agree. But you already hinted in the AFC. You said the Bills are your favorite out of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl. Do you have an NFC pick out of the Eagles, Niners, Vikings, and Bucks?
I don't know. I guess San Francisco, I think, would probably be who I would think is going to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Sounds like you're agreeing with your buddy Byron over there. He's been a big San Francisco guy since
preseason,
before the year.
yeah.
Since before the year, he's been a big San Francisco guy, and they're living up to his expectations. So if you saw San Fran versus Buffalo in the Super Bowl, who would you take right now?
Buffalo.
You think Buffalo's going to win it all?
Yeah, dude.
How confident are you on that?
I'm, overwhelming confidence.
Okay, I like
I
that.
like it, yeah.
I like that.
You know, if it does come down to that, if it's San Francisco and Buffalo in the final, it would be a really close game.
I agree.
I'd probably give it to Buffalo,
Strength on strength for sure, though.
but I think Buffalo is probably the only team from the AFC that could beat the Niners confidently. The Chiefs could. I just don't see them following up, especially with that Niners defense. We've seen the Niners rattle some quarterbacks, and Patrick Mahomes is definitely one of those quarterbacks that can get rattled easily. Josh Allen, I've seen him stay more composed throughout recent games.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes get rattled. What about last year's Buffalo and Chiefs game?
That
was an easy game to get rattled on. 13 seconds. What was it? 13 seconds left, and they ended up scoring.
They ended up scoring, sent it into overtime, and then Josh Allen never got the chance, never got the ball.
Yeah, I'm looking for Josh Allen to get revenge.
Yeah, I mean, if somehow Buffalo and the Chiefs end up playing again, they say it's hard to beat a team twice in the same season. It's going to be real hard for the Chiefs to beat the same team 3 times in a row in the playoffs. That's for sure. I think it would be a great matchup, but if Buffalo and Kansas City were to match up, I'd like Buffalo in that matchup as well.
Haven't the Bengals beat the Chiefs?
They did
2 or 3 times in a row now.
The Bengals have played the Chiefs. They played them in the regular season last year, in the playoffs last year, and in the regular season this year, and they are 3-0 against them.
Excellent.
Patrick
Hey.
Mahomes has never beaten Joe Burrow.
Kryptonite.
Joe Burrow, the GOAT.
Joe Burrow is that guy.
Or it could be. The Bills could just be cursed because if you remember back in history, they went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost all of them.
4 in a row?
4 in a row. Damn. Lost all of them.
Yep, very true.
Maybe.
In the 90s, they ruled the mid 90s in the AFC, and then couldn't. I mean, wide left. I mean, the Bills couldn't find the promised land, but this could be the year, especially with what's going on with DeMar Hamlin, like that.
Yeah, it feels like that story's just building up.
Cinderella story.
Josh Allen's here to break the curse, dog.
I mean, yeah, Josh Allen is a different monster. Him, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow as your 3 quarterbacks in the AFC is like you. This is a battle like we used to have with Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Big Ben,
And then they're going up against, Brock Purdy,
Yep.
Kirk Cousins.
Yep, Geno Smith.
only the Saints had one of those 3 top guys.
See, that kind of leads me into my next point. This is something that Byron and I were talking about before the podcast. Is like they're having a huge quarterback. They have a huge quarterback carousel going on this offseason. So I mean, to the comments as well. If y'all have any opinions on anything we're about to say, go ahead and give them. A lot of quarterbacks are going to change teams this offseason, and there's a lot of teams that need a new quarterback or could be in the market for a new quarterback. So I'm just going to list off some teams here of who may need or may want a new quarterback, and then we can go through the actual quarterbacks who may go where. So the Bucks, the Raiders, the Jets, the Texans, the Colts, the Commanders, the Panthers, the Saints, the Giants, the Ravens, the Seahawks, the Packers, and the Dolphins. 13 different teams could all be in the market for a new quarterback this offseason. Is there 13 quarterbacks to fill those spots? Don't really know. And then even some teams I didn't list, like the 49ers, what are they going to do with the balance between Trey Lance and Brock Purdy? I mean, there's tons of questions going on in the quarterback market. So now that you know the teams, I'm going to give you all a quarterback, and you tell me where you think he ends up.
Okay.
I'm only going to do, I think, 6 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
Probably the 6 biggest ones. Because we know some of them are going to get, Texans are probably going to draft a guy. Colts may draft a guy, something like that. But I'm going to give you 6 quarterbacks. Tell me where you think they end up next season. So first quarterback, the GOAT, Tom Brady. He is going to be a free agent. Where does he play next season?
He's either going to go somewhere that he thinks can, without a doubt, win a Super Bowl this next upcoming year. Looking at this list, I don't really see any teams that have that caliber
Yeah, well,
besides Miami. Miami's one that has a real shot.
Yeah, I mean, Miami's a big question mark because of Tua. Like, if Tua's healthy, he's a great quarterback. The Dolphins are really good when Tua's healthy, but he's not having injuries where it's like, he tore his ACL, he'll get surgery, he'll do rehab, he'll be back. He's having, like, head trauma, which is something you don't want to mess with. I wouldn't be surprised if Tua doesn't play football again, which sucks because when he's playing, he's good. But, like, two, possibly 3 concussions this season, and not minor concussions that puts him out for weeks.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard for him to get back on that football field and then trust the players around him to keep him safe.
Another team I could see him going to, just because of the level of talent, is the Vegas Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
Just acquired Devontae Adams, got Hunter Renfrow, got Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, who had an amazing year.
Yeah, first team All-Pro.
And along with that defense, which has been getting much better from the start of the previous season to the end of this season, I've seen a big improvement in that. Could be another team that could have a shot. I mean, a lot of people thought they would have a shot this year, adding Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
But Derek Carr was not the guy they thought he was.
Nope, and Derek Carr's going to be on the move. He's either going to be a free agent. He's either going to get cut pre-February 15th, or he's going to get traded. I doubt a team trades for him, because if a team trades for him, it's a lot more money to take on that way. At least $33 million this season, and then probably extend him after that. So to bump salary down, turn it into a bonus, all that kind of stuff, all the NFL business type stuff. But
what happened to that guy? He had one season. He was just
he had. It was either his rookie year or the year after his rookie year, where he was MVP through the first 12 weeks. Ends up getting hurt, so he loses that trajectory, and then he's just been Kirk Cousins ever since.
Yeah,
like Carson Wentz too.
Yeah, Carson Wentz had the same problem. I mean, when he was with the Eagles, he was MVP through the first 14 weeks.
led him to the playoffs.
He got hurt 3 weeks before the end of the season, and then Nick Foles takes over, and Nick Foles
stole the show.
He did, and then he won a Super Bowl with them. And then ever since then, Carson Wentz hasn't really been back to the Carson Wentz we knew. Do you have any opinion on where Tom Brady might end up?
Nah, he needs to just retire.
Which is
I
a
agree,
possibility. Yeah. He could very well retire.
Yeah, we have Nakan said Vegas. He thinks Vegas. We know Nakan's a big Tom Brady fan.
Yeah.
So no one likes him.
Correct.
And Soundman said Brady is going to win the couch Super Bowl next year.
Yeah,
I would love that. I would love if Brady retired so he's just out of our lives and we don't have to talk about him anymore.
But yeah, I could see him retiring before he would join a new team, if I'm being honest. I just don't think he has the gas left in him.
Yeah. An interesting concept that I thought about was what if they do a Tom Brady trade with the Raiders? What if they do a sign and trade where they swap Carr and Brady? So Carr ends up in Tampa. Brady comes to the Raiders. Brady reunites with Josh McDaniels in Vegas. He has Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller. Josh Jacobs may not be there because Josh Jacobs is going to be a free agent as well. But
Does he divorce Giselle and then retire right after?
that's a good question.
I mean, I think he, from a financial standpoint, yes, because then he starts making that Fox money that's paying him
Fair
a metric ton of money.
$35 million a year or something like that just to be an announcer.
So yeah, he might have to make some money back after divorcing her.
Yeah.
She's taking half of it.
She was worth more than him when they divorced.
Yeah.
That's my favorite stat. But Tom Brady, there was two things to his retirement. Either he retired and then realized he hated his family, so he went back to football, or he retired and his family realized they hated him, so he went back to football. We don't know which one's true. But yeah, I could see Tom. I could see him retiring. I could see him going to Vegas. There was rumors that he may go back to New England. I don't know. I don't know about why would you leave if you're just going to go back a couple years later
With a worse team.
Yeah, much worse team. Yeah, very, very much a worse team. So we addressed Tom Brady and we talked about the Raiders. So where's Derek Carr go?
Let me think about this.
Think about it.
The Bucks would be a good option if Brady retires or goes somewhere else.
Would you like to know who the betting favorite is?
Is it the Colts?
It is the New Orleans Saints.
Derek Carr.
The Saints are the betting favorite to get Derek Carr at like plus 250.
Wow.
Because of
low.
the Dennis Allen connection. Dennis Allen was his first head coach, I think. The Saints are in that position where they have to address the quarterback. Andy Dalton's going to be a free agent. Jameis Winston was hurt and didn't really get the chance to play. We don't have a first-round pick to draft a guy.
But we could be getting one.
Right, which we're going to talk about the coaching carousel after this quarterback carousel. There's a lot of carousels going on. But what if the Saints get Derek Carr?
We suck again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
think he's the missing piece.
Yeah, I don't see that as much of an upgrade from Andy Dalton, who had a pretty good season in my eyes. I mean, I guess it adds some youth, so maybe like keep him for a while until we can get a draft a better quarterback.
Yeah.
But I really don't know. He wouldn't be my favorite out of this list.
Yeah. I know who would be, though. Jimmy G.
Second favorite is Jimmy G. Lamar Jackson's on this list.
Right, but I think Lamar's is a whole different situation. That's why I was going to save him for last. But Jimmy G, also a guy you said you want to see on the Saints. If he doesn't end up with the Saints, where do you think?
Jimmy G would go?
Yeah, where do you think realistically he would end up?
I'd say either the Jets or the Colts, maybe the Packers.
Depending on what Aaron Rodgers does.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jimmy G's a Jet. Like, in my mind, he's already there. I don't know why.
Because he's
just
Italian.
A feeling. Well, no, it's the Robert Saleh connection. Like Mike LaFleur just got fired, so it's not the Mike LaFleur connection anymore. But Robert Saleh, he looks like a New York guy. Like, it just, they need a veteran. It just makes sense in my mind to get Jimmy G.
Also, Dolphins could probably be on that list.
Dolphins could be on the list for anybody.
A very attractive man in Miami. Come on now.
The way Gage just looked at him.
Have you seen a picture of Jimmy Garoppolo? You're about to.
I've seen what the guy looks like. That didn't really get too crazy over it.
Byron's getting crazy. Byron is one of the biggest Jimmy G fans I know.
Stud.
He's a good-looking man. He's a good-looking man.
Wow.
Right?
And then, we've got Daniel Jones as another guy who's going to be a free agent. I expect him to stay with the Giants. He had his best year yet.
Yeah, and under new staff, I feel like he's kind of found his footing a little more. I don't think he's the problem in the Giants. I think it's the wide receiver room.
Yeah, very much so.
Very much underwhelming. It just seems they can't draft a good guy to keep. Like
No.
Tony, he had an all right first season. Everybody was like, okay, he's going to have a much better season the more and more he stays, which he probably would have if he would have stayed, but he did not.
Nope, he's in Kansas City now.
Doing nothing.
Darius Slayton is mid. Sterling Shepard's hurt.
And old.
Kenny Galladay is
Older.
he's caught like 6 passes since he went to the Giants 3 years ago.
They traded their tight end, Evan Ingram, away.
They don't have much going for him on
Yeah.
the offensive side of the ball other than Saquon. But I still haven't beaten the Vikings this weekend. Shout out Reese.
Saquon just decides to, do pretty good this year as soon as I didn't draft him.
And that's the way the cookie crumbles, especially in fantasy.
Sick of that guy.
You've got another kind of mid guy, Baker Mayfield. He kind of picked it up for the Rams at the end of the year, but they're assuming Matthew Stafford will be back and ready to go, so he may not have a starting job there. Do you see him getting a starting job at all?
Yeah, I do, especially after, the Baker magic that he had in the last few games with the Rams. Put up 51 points
Against the Broncos?
against a good defense.
Yeah.
Out of this list, I don't see him going back to the Panthers.
No.
Colts, maybe. They're pretty desperate.
Honestly, I see the Colts. I think the Colts are the number one prospect to trade for the number one pick from the Bears, in my mind. Because they have pick 4. They're a team that really need a quarterback. Chris Ballard is on the hot seat. He's got to make a move. And what bigger move than to trade for the number one pick? I'm talking like draft day style. Kevin Costner, like Sonny Weaver Jr. looking like trading 3 first-round picks for the number one pick, and then I want my first back in David Putney because I feel like it. Like that's what we're looking like for Chris Ballard.
Or I could see Mayfield going to the Packers, too, if Rodgers stays, get a little experience from a back-to-back MVP. Wouldn't be a bad thing at all for Baker. I think he still has a lot of potential. He's just been in a few bad situations, even though this last year didn't really help him for that case. But getting some veteran knowledge under his belt from a pretty good quarterback would definitely help him in the long run.
Yeah. And then finally, your guy, Lamar Jackson. To me, there's no way Lamar leaves the Ravens, not because of their relationship with the Ravens, but because they can franchise tag him.
Yeah, they can.
If you're the Ravens, how do you not franchise tag Lamar Jackson?
You kind of have to, especially after this season. Even though he got hurt, first weeks 1 through 6, putting up
He was the
crazy
MVP.
numbers.
He had a game where he had like 550 and 5 touchdowns against the Dolphins.
How do you get hurt?
He sprained or strained his PCL.
It's his downfall.
He's been out the past 3
He's
weeks.
out, dog.
He went on Twitter yesterday and tweeted this thing about like, hey, I know everybody's hating on me and thinking this is because of my contract, but like, I legit cannot play football right now. Like, I have tried and tried and tried, and there's nothing I can do. I am a running quarterback with a strained knee. What do you like?
Yeah, he's done.
What are you expecting from me?
Yeah, he's gonna have a worse downfall than Derek Carr.
That's a bold statement.
That is a bold statement.
You just say a running quarterback with a messed up knee.
I mean, he might heal over the offseason, but we're not going to see him for the rest
had
of
to
this
change
year.
the game, son.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he ends up in Baltimore, but gosh, I would love him in Miami.
I saw someone on Instagram
Miami,
the other days talking about the Jets.
Lamar
Yeah.
also makes sense.
He has any team wants him.
Yeah.
So he's got a lot of options.
Well, not any team, but like 25. The only teams that don't want him are like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals.
The teams that already have
a
the
franchise guy.
quarterback.
Yeah. Everybody else would be like, yes, Lamar, please, thank you.
The only thing is if they have enough money to pay him.
Yeah.
Because we watched the Ravens not wanting to pay him
You got
as much as he deserved. That's a tough one. When it comes down to it, I think he stays in Baltimore. I think they will franchise tag him or pay him as much money as he wants. It's not like they're paying, an extreme amount of money for that team. They don't have many absolute studs on that team. But yeah, coming to New Orleans. I mean, there's a shot he comes to New Orleans,
Oh gosh,
especially with restructuring
with restructuring Mike.
Mike Thomas.
I was about to say
Getting a lot of
somebody
money
needs to
back.
get rid of that dude.
I
It
hope
sounds
they do.
like you're on the same page as us. Like, I can't deal with Mike Thomas anymore, man.
Really. As soon as he goes somewhere else, he's gonna start playing and balling out. Too.
Oh yeah, he's got all the talent in the world. If he plays for us and he plays well, I'm happy. But the problem is
he
dude
just
hasn't-
doesn't play.
dude hasn't
Yeah, I'm
played more than
saying,
5 games in 3 years.
Yeah, he don't want to play. I don't think not with us.
Yeah, it is what it is. That Mike Thomas situation is just bad
But,
on all levels.
Can you even get a good trade for him at this point?
That's the thing is who's gonna trade anything for him?
Exactly.
We have no leverage in a trade for Mike Thomas.
No.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I think we got to tough it out one more year. Maybe he might, produce a little more.
The only leverage we do have a trade in is Sean Payton, though,
Yes.
because Sean Payton is getting back into coaching. He's made it very clear.
Dude, if he goes somewhere else, I'm gonna be upset.
So 3 teams have already requested to interview him. The interviews will be taking place next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I believe, starting with the Broncos and then the Cardinals and the Texans. So those are the three spots that are looking at Sean Payton. They have 5 open jobs right now. The only 2 teams who haven't really talked to him are the Colts and the Panthers, which I'm glad it's not. We would never trade him to the Panthers.
No.
I don't think we would trade him in our division. But Cardinals, Broncos, and Texans. I've already said I think he ends up with the Cardinals. I think that's where he's going to end up. Broncos is Byron's choice, which is also a good choice. They can pay with the people who just bought the Broncos. They can pay him literally whatever he wants. They are one of the richest families in America, the Walton family. They literally own Walmart, so they can pay Sean Payton whatever they want. But I think Sean Payton wants to go to a situation.
Yeah, Cardinals got a lot of talent, and who wants to go to Let's Ride Broncos?
Facts. I would avoid Russell Wilson at all costs.
Well, again, I don't think he was the problem there because we know what Russell Wilson's capable of.
He was capable of. Call him. That's another Derek Carr right there. He's done.
Is that the term we're going to start using when people are washed? They're Derek Carrs.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think he was the problem. I think it was Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, we were just watching those plays unfold, 3rd and long, and you see the receivers all running short routes, like a 5-yard out to the right. And we know how Russell Wilson can throw these deep balls. Been one of the best there ever was at throwing them in Seattle. I don't think he's the reason that the Broncos played this bad this year. I think it falls a lot on the coaching.
No, I don't think he's 100% the reason. I think if he had a better coach, the Broncos are better, without a doubt. I don't think he's as good as he used to be, but nobody is when you're as old as Russ is at this point. He's like 33, 34. There's very few quarterbacks who are in their prime at that age. And, like guys like Aaron Rodgers and Drew and Tom. But, I mean, for me, it just makes the most sense for Sean to go to Arizona. They're a younger team. They've got the picks. I mean, the Broncos lost a lot of picks with Seattle when they made that trade. So, for me, it just makes sense to ship him off to Arizona.
Yeah, we'd probably get more in return.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get like I've said before, if we can get the number 3 pick in return for Sean Payton, I am happy.
Yeah.
However, like I was telling you before the podcast, C.J. Stroud is yet to declare for the draft in 2023. So I was saying we could get C.J. Stroud, but he might go back to college.
Yeah.
Which is a very interesting prospect. If you have C.J. Stroud, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, all in the same draft in 2024.
Maybe he wants to win a Heisman.
He has won a Heisman, hasn't he? No, he has not. No, Bryce Young won it that year. I was thinking of 2 years ago.
Is TCU's quarterback the one that won the Heisman?
No.
Caleb Williams
from
from
USC.
USC.
Max Duggan finished the runner-up, which he is going to be in this draft, but he looked very bad in the national championship. So he killed his stock. He had that first round, like, oh, he's going to sneak in, and then the national championship was like, no, he's going second round.
I didn't even watch that game. I know they got.
I turned it off at half.
absolutely
Like it was,
stomped.
it was bad. It was not a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was. I probably watched like 5 minutes total of it. Like right before halftime, I was all right, and then like right after halftime, I was like, "That's enough of this."
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there was. I was hoping it'd be like the semifinals, where it was 2 games that came down to the wire, and you were excited to watch.
Those were fun games.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on from football, let's talk about some baseball. I know Lott's usually our baseball guy, but let's talk about some LSU baseball. LSU baseball is about to ramp back up. You look at all the polls and the rankings, and LSU's number one in all of them. Very exciting time to be an LSU fan, if I do say so myself. Unfortunately, you don't usually see the number one team win the national championship in
I
baseball.
feel like they've been a high recruitment class for the past few years.
They had the number one 2022 recruiting class, and as it stands, they have the number one 2023 recruiting class as well.
That stuff don't mean nothing.
It's true. You never know how a prospect's going to turn out at any level.
Right. But, opening the season at number one, it's going to be our second year under Jay Johnson. I saw them play in person quite a few times last year. They were a fun team to watch, but definitely had their inconsistencies. This year, hopefully it can be different, although they are returning some absolute dogs. Dylan Cruz, who's widely viewed as a top 2 pick in the MLB draft. One of the best, if not the best player in college baseball right now. We're also returning Trey Morgan, who is, if he's not making a first-team All-American, he is a second-team All-American, which he is this year. He was first-team freshman All-American when he was a freshman. Dugas is coming back as well. We've got some experienced guys, and we've got some real talent on this team. Speaking about talent, we do have 3 preseason first-team All-Americans.
Nice.
That's really nice from one team to have 3 guys on the diamond that are preseason All-Americans. Those 3 guys, Dylan Cruz, like I was talking about, just for reference, his numbers last year, batted .349 with 22 home runs and 72 RBIs as a center fielder for the Tigers.
Not bad.
Not bad at all. We've got Tommy Tanks White transferring from NC State.
Tommy Tanks.
Third baseman. The fielding isn't the thing that gets you. It's the Tanks. 362, 27 home runs, 74 RBIs.
Dang, he had more than Cruz.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here talking about how good Cruz is,
And then
you look at Tommy Tanks' numbers, and
Hey, dude, if
they're
you got
better.
Tanks as your last name, you better hit Tanks.
Yeah, I mean, it's White, but we'll call him Tanks. Tommy Tanks. Hey, it rolls off the tongue. Tommy Tanks. How you doing?
Yeah, well.
And then you've got Paul Skeens, the transfer from Air Force. He throws 100 miles an hour on a fastball in college.
Yeah, that's nice to see.
Yeah, you love it. And he's also I could be wrong, but I think he's 6'7". I think he's a tall dude. He went 10-3 last year on the win-loss record. 273 on the ERA, 96 strikeouts. And then he can also DH for you. He bats .314 with 13 home runs and 38 RBIs.
As a pitcher,
As a pitcher, he's got a bat.
Dude's a goat.
I think LSU might break a record for most runs scored ever in college baseball this year. We have so many bats in the lineup.
What kind of pitching we got besides that guy?
See, that's the
was
question.
a bit of a problem last
That is
year,
the
too.
question. Is how are our starters looking? We've got Blake Money coming back. Paul is still there. I'm hoping Reese is in the chat and can give us some insight because I know he's a big LSU baseball fan. How's our pitching going to look, Reese? If you are listening in, and you can drop in the comments.
He said 6'6".
6'6", yeah. I mean, he's a large individual to say the least.
Yeah, Reese is a big fan of this team, and for a main reason, he loves watching them warm up. Before the game, warming up.
Batting practice? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
So pregame stretch type stuff. So okay. So here's the story. Myself, Reese, and Byron went to Houston to watch the Shriners Classic that LSU was playing in. It was a tournament of 6 teams, and each team plays 3 games over the weekend. And every time LSU would warm up, they'd go warm up in right and center field, and they had this weird batting routine that they all brought bats out into the field and would simultaneously bunt,
Synchronized bunting.
Yeah, synchronized bunting, synchronized swinging, synchronized take pitch. It was a very interesting warm up that we saw from the LSU baseball team. So Reese was a big fan of the synchronized bunt.
How does that benefit them?
That's the good question. That's why we like watching them warm up.
All right.
But
Reese said Ty Foy is back.
okay, yeah. But I mean, we've got some pitchers. I think that is our biggest question mark because offense is not the question mark right now.
No.
2 questions are who's going to play where because we've got so many good bats.
We did have a few fielding errors
Yeah.
last year.
And I think our worst fielder is not going to play this year, and our second worst fielder is in the MLB. So we should be upgrading in the field because Jacob Berry was a below average defender, and that was his big problem last year. He was great with the bat in his hands, but he made a lot of errors. And then Jordan Thompson playing short, like he got benched at one point because he couldn't play the position. But Gavin Guidry, who is widely viewed as one of the best freshmen in college baseball, he was named one of the top 100 freshmen in college baseball, along with 5 of our other players: Brady Neal, Jared Jones, Paxton Kling, and Jaden Newt. So we've got 6 top 100 freshmen, and then Gavin Guidry might come in as a true freshman and start at short, which we've seen from some guys, and it works out with guys like Alex Bregman. So we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited for this LSU baseball season. I think we have a lot of potential. We could be very, very good.
Yeah. What we got next?
Next up, we're gonna talk quickly about a subject I don't know much about, and I'm not gonna pretend to, but some college basketball. We haven't addressed it at all.
I don't know nothing about that.
That's how I feel too.
Single thing.
So I'm gonna pull up a guy who couldn't be on with us, but everybody knows very well. Our buddy Rebo. He had some thoughts on this year's college baseball season. Basketball season. So I'm just gonna, first off the top of my head, I know Houston's 1, Kansas is 2, Purdue's 3. So nationally, you're looking at some teams that are always pretty good or still at the top. I have Arizona winning it all this year, off the top of my head, just for the same reason that Reese said. He said Arizona is going to be hard to beat because their ball movement is impeccable, which is something we saw with the Warriors back in the mid-2010s when they were in the finals every single year. It's just the ball movement, the way they play offense is so unique that it's going to be hard to beat them. He also said Purdue's Zach Edey is playing amazing right now. If you look at him from an NBA comp standpoint, his floor is like Steven Adams. So if your floor is, a top...
One of the strongest guys in the NBA.
Yeah, a top 15 center in the league, you're doing pretty well for yourself. Kansas is playing really, really well offensively, but defensively they have a lot of trouble. And then the Big 12 is a shootout where Kansas State is having their first winning year in a decade. So that's
Nice.
Reese's thoughts on what's really going on nationally with college basketball. And then talking about LSU specifically, Adam Miller, who, he's a guy who was supposed to be there last year, be very, very good, got injured, didn't play the entire season, and apparently he's not playing up to what he was thought to be. So that's Rebo's thoughts on college basketball.
Yeah, and I have a little bit on LSU. We started off the season great, outstanding, up until from November 9th all the way to December 28th. We only lost one game, and it was to Kansas State.
Yep.
By 2 points. But since then, since we got to conference play, it's not been good.
No, I think we had
We
that big
lost-
SEC win against Arkansas.
Yeah, we beat Arkansas, but then we lost 3 straight to Kentucky, A&M, and Florida.
Which I remember that Kentucky game was a really good game.
Yeah, we lost by 3.
It was a very close game, one we had within our grip, but losing to A&M in Florida, ugh.
We lost to A&M by 13
Yeah,
and Florida by 12. Or 11.
can't have it.
11. And then next we play Alabama.
Who is also very good.
very good. They are ranked 4th.
Yeah.
LSU is unranked. Yeah, SEC basketball is definitely
Picked up.
taking it a notch up
Absolutely.
in recent seasons, and LSU is having some struggle this year keeping up with that pace.
Which, we kind of expected a rebuilding year, new coach, a lot of transfers, a lot of freshmen, that type of stuff. So I didn't expect us to be great this year. But, we've kind of been spoiled these past few years where LSU basketball wasn't good for a long time.
Yeah.
And we've been making the NCAA tourney for, 3-4 years in a row. So we kind of got spoiled for a little bit. I guess this is the realism of having a rebuilding program. LSU fans aren't used to not being good at sports, though, so it's kind of hard.
I mean, on the other side, LSU's women's basketball team is doing great.
Undefeated. They cannot lose. They beat Missouri by 20 points last night. That's what happens when you get
Kramer's mom.
Yeah, Kramer's mom. That's what happens when you get one of the best college basketball coaches, not just women college basketball coaches, one of the best college basketball coaches of all time. And Kim Mulkey.
Yeah, Reese also took a little jab at the college basketball scene, men's college basketball. He said, it's a weird year. No one is undefeated.
That's true. I think Purdue was the last remaining undefeated team, and then they ended up dropping one a couple weeks ago, maybe. I could be completely wrong on that and sound like a doofus, but when do I not?
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, it's a weird year. I think they've got a lot of one-loss teams. Nobody's undefeated. Nobody's like the hard-on favorite to win the NCAA tourney at this point.
I'm
so
taking Houston.
You are taking Houston. I currently am sitting with Arizona for the same reason Reese is. I see random highlights and stuff on Twitter, and I like the way they play. But that's about all I've got on college basketball. I don't really know much. Just wanted to address it for anybody out there who maybe
We'll probably get
curious.
into it more after
NFL's
playoffs is
over.
over. Yeah.
That's the thing is once the NFL's over, we can venture into so many other places. But the NFL is just
Oh, yeah.
it's the powerhouse of all sports in America, which is why we're going to talk about it again when we get into B&B's bets right here. So last episode when we had Mr. Lottober on, I raised the question, if you could pick one underdog to cover the spread or to win in the wild card round, who would you take? I personally took the New York Giants to cover or beat the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going as far as to say they'll beat the Minnesota Vikings. They're completely healthy. The Vikings might be out 2 starting O-linemen, and the Vikings are playing their worst football of the season right now.
And then I went on and took the Jags to beat the spread, but most likely beat the Chargers because plus 1.5 is kind of tough.
Yeah.
And Lot went ahead and took the Seahawks spread against the Niners, which was at the time it was plus 10. Currently it's plus 9.5. So you could still get it for, it hasn't closed the gap too much.
Yeah.
Soundman also has a bet.
Okay. While you're looking for Soundman's bet, last weekend we did a 3-leg lock for the weekend, and I think they all hit, right?
Yes.
So let's try it again. We'll try to go 2 for 2 in the locks.
There's a lot less games, so it's
A lot less
harder.
games, so a little bit harder, and a lot more meaningful games, so it's a little bit harder to predict as well. But my 3-leg lock, I'm looking at 49ers money line over the Seahawks, the Bengals to cover 8.5 against the beat-up Ravens, and the Bills to cover 13.5 against a Skylar Thompson-led Miami Dolphins.
Hell
and you
yeah.
can get those at plus 326 on a parlay.
Once again, I just went with 3 straight money lines. I got the Cowboys to beat Tampa, Niners to beat Seattle, and the Bills to beat Skylar Thompson.
Yeah, you took the easy way out. It's fine, though. What's the odds on that one?
Plus 131.
Sweet. What's Soundman's bet?
He has a 2-legger. He has Seattle's spread, which he got at plus 10 also, and the over, which was at 42.5.
I could see it.
Combine those for plus 264.
I could see it. I don't know how much Seattle's going to score in that San Fran defense, so the under is probably where I would have went, but Soundman's a better than me.
I mean, San Francisco's been scoring a lot on their own.
Right, but my thing is, if I would have went either San Fran spread in the over or Seattle spread in the under, it's hard for me to mix match those. Because I don't if there's a bunch of points scored, I'm assuming that's because San Fran blew them out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll see. But
Yeah, if I had to predict the score of this game, it'd probably be like 35-10.
which would hit the over,
Would hit the over, but not
the spread.
Yeah.
Same thing I'm thinking. Like 31-13, something like that. And then we also did an NBA parlay for tonight. We don't typically do NBA bets, but
Glad
I've been winning NBA bets almost every night for the past 3 or 4 nights.
Yeah, because of this same bet.
For the same team, basically. I would have won 2 more if LeBron had scored 1 more point last night. That's why he's not the GOAT, second best player of all time. Jordan would never score 24. That's all I'm saying. But I always bet on the Kings. For some reason, I'm always looking at the NBA schedule, and I'm like, let me bet on the Kings.
Kings have been good.
And they pay off for me. I've bet on them 4 times in the past 2 weeks, and 3 of them have hit. That's all I'm saying. And typically, it's the same exact bet. It's Fox and Sabonis each to score 20 and each to get 6 assists. They're both averaging around those numbers. Sabonis is actually, I saw this on Twitter yesterday. He's the only guy in the NBA who's top 18 in total points, total rebounds, total assists, as well as in rebounds per game, assists per game, points per game. Only guy in the entire NBA. He's having a great year. And then Fox is the fourth quarter king, or king of the fourth quarter, if you'd like to say it that way.
Yeah.
Shout out Kenny Beecham. But, Fox and Sabonis to each score 20. Each should get 6 assists. And then I threw in the Kings money line just for a little bit extra because they're playing the Rockets. And you can get that parlayed for $348.
Yeah, I like the Kings this year, especially Sabonis, who's having a great year. That trade was like the first trade I've ever witnessed that both teams got significantly better.
Yeah, both teams, it worked out for both teams exactly how they wanted it to. The Pacers got their number one option and a very good player in Tyrese Halliburton, and the Kings are making playoff pushes with Domantas Sabonis. Worked out.
Yeah.
What's your parlay?
Get ready.
I'm not.
I don't know if it's supposed to be like this because we were doing the math earlier.
Don't know if it's supposed to be like
and
this.
it should not have come out to this amount, but I have Aaron Gordon and Zubac both to get 10 rebounds.
And this is the Nuggets versus Clippers.
Nuggets versus Clippers, no Jokic.
Right.
Gordon and Zubac both to get 10 rebounds. And then Kawhi and Jamal Murray both to get 25 points. Not too bad of a four-legger.
Yeah. Like, if you asked me before I saw what the actual odds were, I'd be like, it's plus, like, 600 probably.
Yeah,
like it's going to be hard for those points to hit because Murray and Kawhi haven't been scoring a bunch this season. But I could see it happening. It's, 500, 600 on the odds.
plus 2,255.
That's ridiculous.
I don't know if I, messed up somewhere and
Broke the system.
Yeah, just completely demolished FanDuel. But I definitely threw some money on that.
Yeah, I mean, as you should. And it's very large odds. I like that. I didn't throw any money on yours. I did throw money on mine, but maybe I should have. Maybe I will after the episode. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see if it actually works correctly for you.
The Pels are playing tonight as well. They're taking on the Pistons. And one of my buddies, Gage, not this Gage, different Gage. One of my buddies, Gage, made a Pels parlay. And I bet the same one as him because I thought this was a really good one. What he has is CJ to score 25, Valanciunas and Najee to each score 15, and then CJ to hit 3 threes and 5 assists, as well as Valanciunas grabbing 8 rebounds. So lots of legs.
Yeah.
6-legger. But he told me that ever since Zion has been out, there's only been one game where these guys haven't hit those numbers. So it looks good. They're playing a bad team. I really like this one, and the odds on that are 475. So you're getting pretty good odds for guys to hit their averages, basically, which I like. So, again, CJ 25 with 5 assists and 3 threes. Valanciunas to score 15 and have 8 rebounds, and then Najee just to score 15.
Excellent.
And then finally, Gage has been sitting back, chillaxing. We want to get some final opinions from him.
We need to get him to talk about something for a little while. So I'm going to give him this, and we're going to get his thoughts on the upcoming UFC 283.
And it's going to be on the same day as his fight. So you can watch Gage Gill beat a guy, and then you can watch a great UFC card in the same night. So here we are. Gage, give your opinions on UFC 283. Who's winning, who's not?
Yeah, we'll just do a little bit of the main card. Pick some of your favorite fights. Which ones you're looking forward to?
Should be 5 fights on the main? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll go with the main event and then work down. I mean, hard to go against Glover in this. Jamal Hill, he hits hard though. He puts people out.
Yeah, he's actually the betting favorite.
Which I could see it. I mean, Glover's old, but I mean, going off of his last fight, phenomenal fight against Erie, which honestly he was winning that fight. Cost me some money. I'm not going to get into that, but I think I'd have to go with Glover on this. As long as he don't get knocked out in the first punch he gets hit by, he should.
Sounds like he is still holding on to something.
He should win. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Glover on that one. this next one is, pick your poison, honestly. Because
the odds are
the odds are
even.
The odds are the same.
Yeah.
Champ versus champ.
I mean, the last one they fought, Figueiredo won, obviously, and I didn't see that happen because the fight before that, Moreno just, completely dominated him. So it's like, it's honestly whoever shows up more ready that for the night. So yeah, honestly, if you're feeling ballsy, then you go ahead and make your own pick for that one.
So you wouldn't touch this fight in a betting standpoint.
No, not especially not if I'm putting it in my parlay. No, absolutely not. Because it's too unknown, and honestly, if I'm betting on a single one, it's not even worth that either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I mean they're both negative odds, so you're
Just-
not gonna double your money or anything.
Just forget about that fight if you talking about betting. Now it should be a pretty exciting fight. Now, Gilbert Burns, Neil Magny. I mean, Magny's got a really, really good gas tank, but it's only a 3-round fight. Gilbert hits like a truck, and his grappling is really good, probably better than Magny. I
Burns is favorite.
gotta go with Burns.
Minus 365 in that fight.
yeah, Burns is a heavy favorite here.
Yeah. So I guess I have to go with Burns on that one, which obviously all these fights, it's a fight. They're all really good. So it's like, anybody could win, but going with Gilbert, Glover, this one is tough too. I don't know on this one. I guess Andrade maybe. I'm feeling like her little short ass is gonna get this one done.
She is the favorite.
Yeah, I didn't even see that at first. Yeah, I mean, if it was a 5-round fight, I'd probably go with Murphy because I don't know. She just got that in her. But 3-round fight, going Andrade. And then Paul Craig, I gotta go with Paul Craig. I hate Johnny Walker. I hate that guy. But skill wise, I think Paul Craig, even though he's an underdog, he gets that done. If it goes to the ground, he's gonna win. Stand up, Johnny Walker's kind of scary. 6'4", 6'5", just a beast. But I gotta go with Paul Craig.
Great choices. I might throw together a little parlay.
I won't. I don't know anything about fighting. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I
Dude,
do.
Honestly, it's even if you're like 100% sure on all these fights, one of them's gonna get screwed.
Yeah.
I don't even want to get into my past on these UFC bets.
Yeah, betting on fights is just as hard, if not harder, than betting on the MLB.
Yeah,
Really upsets me. Really bad.
but hey, we got a little bit of knowledge going on here. I think we had a great little versatile show tonight. We talked about Gage and in his personal fighting career. We talked about the UFC. We talked about college baseball. We talked about college basketball. Got the NFL in there. Got the NBA in there. We covered all the bases. Good for us. Off the dome, baby. That's what we do. But I think that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. Gage,
The
any last thoughts you want to get out to the people before we disembark?
control room is where I'm headed to.
Yeah, dude.
Soundman
I
had to
want to shout out my number one sponsor, Sean Brignac at
Oh.
Brignac Mortgage.
We love Sean Brignac over here.
Lord, God forbid I got that wrong again.
Shout out to Brignac Mortgage.
But yeah, any of your mortgage needs, hit up Sean Brignac. He's your guy.
So don't forget, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, Gage has got his next fight coming up January 21st. Caged Warrior Championship, Thibodaux Municipal Auditorium, taking on Carlton Lofton. We're looking for another Gage the Gremlin Gill special, which is ending it in the first round,
No doubt.
remaining undefeated in his professional fights. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Off the Dome Sports Podcast. Thank you for listening in, whether you're on New Rock Radio or watching us on Radio House Studios. We appreciate everybody being out there, paying attention to us, and we'll see you next time.